19 people in all face conspiracy and other charges, but there's one state official Fani Willis originally had her eye on who she was ordered not to investigate.
Fox 5 IT reporter Randy Travis says this week's indictment means a decision on what to do about a possible case involving Georgia's current lieutenant governor. And Randy, you just learned that a special prosecutor will be appointed to the Burt Jones case.
That's right, Christine. Yeah, Burt Jones was not the lieutenant governor when he signed his name as one of the so-called fake electors back in December 2020. He was a state senator then. 3 of his fellow alternate electors are now under indictment, accused of racketeering and other crimes, but not Jones. Well, now the head of the Georgia Prosecuting Attorneys Council tells me he will appoint a special prosecutor to decide whether Jones should be the 20th defendant.
If you don't take care of home base, then you can forget about everything else. And it's the people thing.
On the joyful night Burt Jones was elected lieutenant governor for the state of Georgia, we brought up the one uncomfortable topic he insisted was settled. But there is a dark cloud still, if you want to talk about the other issue going on in Fulton County.
No, we won our court case with Fulton County. Judge ruled in our favor.
A judge did rule in his favor, ordering DA Fani Willis to not include Jones in her election interference investigation, even though he took part in what was supposed to be a secret meeting of alternate electors on December 14th, 2020. But in the middle of her investigation, Willis chose to hold a fundraiser for a Democrat who would eventually oppose Jones for lieutenant governor. A bad look, which cost her a chance at including Jones in her case.
It's a what are you thinking moment. The optics are horrific.
It's up to the Prosecuting Attorneys Council to sort through conflicts like this. Executive Director Pete Skandalakis decided to wait until an indictment before deciding whether to appoint a special prosecutor for the lieutenant governor. Well, now that indictment is here.
But we're pouring through that right now.
After reading it, do you think that if Fani Willis had not held that fundraiser, that Burt Jones would be the 20th person indicted?
I have no way of knowing that. I have not been privy to the investigation, so I'm not certain what evidence Ms. Willis's office has developed.
He wants to meet with the DA's investigators, read the special purpose grand jury report, and make a decision soon, in a matter of weeks. If you decide to move forward and bring in a special prosecutor to investigate Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, how hard would that be to find someone?
Randy, that's going to be extremely difficult to find somebody, not only because of the resources that you need to handle a case like this, but the limitations I have in paying somebody.
Now, Jones put out a statement on social media this afternoon criticizing the indictment, but making no mention of the possibility of a special prosecutor. Quote, while the Fulton County District Attorney continues to pursue the political vendettas of the past, I have and will continue to look forward, solving the most pressing issues facing our city and our state. But it looks like one of the pressing issues he's going to be facing is a special prosecutor. It's interesting that Pete Skandalakis earlier today just hadn't really decided yet if he was going to appoint one. Now he's saying he has decided, but he's not sure yet who to appoint.
Who is out there that would take on this case?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one to find someone. I mean, he says that it can be any lawyer in Georgia who is in good standing with the state bar, even a retired state or federal prosecutor, and that may be the way he goes, because I imagine it would just be very politically fraught for a Republican DA to take this case in Georgia, and the optics would be terrible for a Democratic DA to do the same thing.
Yeah, well, I read somewhere that they can only pay them $60 an hour, which is not what lawyers are used to making.
Yeah, I think you'd have to do it out of love, probably, if you end up signing up for this deal.
All right, Randy, we know you keep following it. Thank you.
Will do.